I'm Peter Davey from the Lyttelton Port of Christchurch. This video is a historical record of what happened at Lyttelton during the two very large earthquakes in 2010 and 2011. The destruction was widespread. Cash and Key particularly was hard hit. The breakwater at the end of Cash and Key sunk by over 1.5 metres. Cash and Key number 1 was the hardest hit of all our berths. It moved up to 800 millimetres out to seaward. This resulted us in having to load coal ships with a static point ship loader. It took some 3 to 4 months to get this back to full operations. As I speak, Cash and Key number 2 is still out of commission, as it has also moved out significantly to sea. The hard stand area behind Cash and Key has been severely disrupted, and we're in the process of repaving most of that area. Cash and Key number 3 and 4, which are our container terminal berths, stood up a lot better. However, our two large container cranes were both rocked off their front rails and had to be jacked back in place. It took us 96 hours before we had the first container ship back in operation. Our inner harbour stood up well. There was some disconnect between the finger wharves and the land, but those were quickly repaired. The oil berth was also hard hit, with it moving 1.2 metres out to sea, though it did continue with operations throughout. Staff performed admirably right across the company. The fact that the port was operational within 96 hours was a testament to their dedication and hard work. Our customers were also very supportive. The fact that most ships were calling again within 10 days was credit to them and their faith in our port. The port was also hit by a number of rock falls. It was an area that we hadn't seen as a high risk prior to this earthquake, but rocks fell right through Lyttelton, and unfortunately at least 2 people were killed on the walking tracks above Lyttelton. This rockfall meant that in a number of areas we couldn't resume immediate work due to ongoing hazards. The Lyttelton Tunnel performed as was expected. It stayed intact and continued to provide vital services between the port and Christchurch. The township of Lyttelton was hit hard. The majority of the historic buildings were knocked out. As we speak, more and more are being demolished. The earthquake was centred in Lyttelton. In our own backyard, areas such as the pump house and the Forbes buildings, 2 of our oldest buildings, had to be pulled down. The port is now planning a major reclamation built on the rubble from Christchurch. This will be a lasting legacy that will provide the port with land and growth opportunities going forward. The port has had major shocks in the past, and this is but one of them, but we see a positive future for both Christchurch and Canterbury with a strong port as a foundation stone.